take a look at the new Caladius Custodes assault tank and vehicle transfer sheet from Forge World.
Pocket bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer here with you again today, taking a look at something that's kind of new, a skimmer tank for the Astartes. We haven't seen that in, I don't know, like ever. This is the Caladius Grav tank for the Custodes faction. I guess just valid for 30k right now, but hey, you never know what's going to come to 40k, right? In the near future when they get their end times, so to speak. Now, Caladius actually, or Caladius, it's a made-up word. I looked it up. I was like, what the heck is a Caladius? I don't know. But usually Forge World names stuff after things, you know, that have something to do with, you know, warfare or the gods or anything like that. And as far as I can tell, Caladius is a made-up word, and Elastus is also a made-up word. So I don't know what it means, but we got a hover tank, and it's pretty dope. So let's take a closer look at this. Now, first off, since I got it out and I want to put it away, let's take a look at the transfer sheet here. Now, these transfer sheets are kind of pricey. I think they're about 20 pounds. I want to say maybe 15, 20 pounds. But they are fantastic with the amount of just sheer awesomeness you get. I mean, this sheet is bigger than a normal sheet of our paper. Like, here's the rules, and it's bigger than US paper size. I guess it's the A15 or something they call it over in England. I'm not exactly sure. But, I mean, you can see all sorts of stuff in here. I mean, you got crazy looking eagles. You got all this, like, motif kind of thing. And then, you know, the Imperial Custodes symbol here with the wreath, the laurel, and the double-headed eagle sword. And then you've got all these little panels and things that you can put on here. And, of course, like, their actual symbol, which is, like, the double-headed Aquila, you know, kind of swept back with the Inquisition symbol, because they're kind of like the beginning of that. Like, they're the, you know, the guardians of the Emperor. They're more superhuman than a normal space marine, so they got like the super special everything. I don't know why this has a one-headed eagle here, but that's a really interesting thing to kind of check out the whole background and everything. And then these, you can tell, are designed to go on like the sides on the front, you know, on the front and back, like swept back of a particular vehicle. Now, some of these wouldn't fit on the Caladius here. What is this thing? Caladius. But it doesn't, it's not spelled the same way as the assassin, so that's why I keep like confused. I'm like, wait, am I saying that right? I don't know. Or Caladius? No, there's no, it's Caladius. As far as I can tell, this is Caladius. Well, anyways, we all learn something new every day. So I'm wondering if eventually, when they flesh out this whole line, if there will be, you know, options for taking rhinos. Or we saw that there was a smaller tank. They haven't released it yet, but I'm wondering if this is like made to kind of match up with some of the vehicles that they'll be coming out with. But either way, this is a good pickup, you know, if you just want to like start picking up guys, and then you have this just to kind of, you know, go along with the vehicles that you might have. Now, when I open this up, this is actually pretty cool. Now, it's an $85 or 85 pound kit, so I think that's like what, $100 US right now, depending on which way the wind's blowing. I noticed first thing right off the bat, I was like, wow, that's packed like some bricks of plastic cocaine crack right there. It was pretty nuts. I was like, they really didn't waste any space. This thing is literally full. It's there, you can't fit anything else in here. It's pretty nuts. So once you get to that, you're like, whoa, okay. Let's take a look at the instruction manual here first, just so we can have an idea of what we'll be looking at in here. So there's the tank itself. Now, overall, it's got some main assemblies. It's like left-right assembly, you know, center fuselage, and then the turret gets built up over a bunch of different parts. It's so detailed. It's actually, I think this is where the most of the parts on the whole kit are. Now, it's only 9 steps to put this bad boy together, but as you can see here in the exploded view, it gets kind of hectic. Now, they got this new little pin kind of system here, which I thought was really genius, because this is a bigger size than the normal flight stand. So obviously, you know, they're going to be producing more of these things, and maybe this is just the precursor kit to that. So if they're casting up this sort of stuff, I would expect to see more of it in the future. And it can be used for like Mechanicum, obviously Eldar tanks down the road, things that are bigger, maybe the Lynx, you know, stuff like that. Like, this is what we kind of saw when they started making the flying stands, and they went back and made adapters, and then they just made it so it just fit right into the models themselves. But what's cool about this is that you can literally take the stem in this washer, this base kind of washer, we'll call it that, and this can be glued onto any base itself. It comes with a Night Titan base, which is pretty crazy to me. I mean, this is the Night base, so, which is also kind of weird, because if you think about it, why are they putting vehicles on bases? I get that it's a flying, you know, it's a flying skimmer, but then I was like, wait a minute, you're putting vehicles on bases? What's that all about? And they were like, my spider sense is tingling. So basically, you can take this interface and you can put it on any size base, like whether it's a 60 round, the Night Titan base. So it will go well for a lot of different vehicles out there, a lot of different options, and I could really see this starting to become a thing. From Forge World is, you know, this little base thing right here. So taking a look at the parts, the basic rundown is the hull, which we were talking about earlier, center, left and right in the cell. So any Star Trek fans out there, the turret itself, which is up here, and like I said, most of the parts of the kit itself are all going into the accelerator cannon to basically form all that, and then you got the ammo stowers. So you got the right and left cannon breeches, which are right there. And then it goes down into the cannon, the casings, the chin turret, all the accelerate cannon barrels and things right there, cannon coolant, all sorts of wackiness right there. And then the flying stand base and support, fuel canisters, wings. Oh, there's actually two little wing fairings right there, right down there on the bottom. Cannon cabling, engines. There's little two thruster engines on the back. And armor plating, thrusters. That's pretty much it. And then some little Grav panel things on the underneath right there. So you can see here, it looks super easy to put together. Left, right, everything kind of slots together. Flip it around, it's got two thrusters on the back. The chin turret actually looks like you are supposed to glue these in. So, but when you use the assembly right here, you're going to be able to rotate it in the slot. So that's kind of cool to see too, right? So it may not go up and down, but it'll, you know, it'll kind of swivel, so to speak. And then on the back, the little fairings, putting the barrels together, and boom, there it is. Seems easy enough in theory, right? But we've seen complicated kits in the past. So like I said, we're gonna unbox the little plastic crack cocaine bricks. I love how Forge World's really stepped up their game with the packaging and stuff. I mean, just a few years ago, this wasn't a thing. It was just like, well, you get what you get, almost. So here's one of the nacelles, and you can tell it's let's zoom in a little bit on this, because I feel like this isn't going to take up a lot of space here. So here's the main, which one is this? Can we tell? Yep, it looks like this would be the right or the starboard side of the Caladius. So there's that, and you can tell, I mean, there's all sorts of amazing detailing here, little warp nacelle, for lack of a better term, and some paneling and things down here. It looks like some sort of stowage or maybe anti-grav units, and then right here's where some more parts go to probably prop up that anti-grav kind of feel. But lots of open dead space right here, which would be great for those decals that I showed you earlier for surezies. Here's the center section. Again, fantastically detailed. Now it's got that like accelerator ring right there thing like they did on the Mastodon. I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess it is an accelerator cannon. So maybe that makes sense. And then right there on the front, you got the cockpit hatch, the Aquila, or their special Aquila, some little sensors and things, more anti-grav parts. And that's pretty much it. Everything is going to slot in right there. The two little wing fairings slot in right there. And then this piece is going to be the port side, which would go just like this. So you can kind of start to get an idea of exactly how big this thing is just by slotting it in together. And that is literally the same size as a Land Raider, I can tell you right off the bat. It may not be as wide, but it is the same size as a Land Raider. That's pretty cool to see. So there's the bigger chunks. Now let's take a look at all the parts that come with the, if we can fit them in here. Let's take a look at all the parts that come with it in this little baggie, because there's a ton of stuff. And I really want to show you this little peg flight stand thing that's really got me all excited, because I can see the potential for them doing some really cool kits out there. So here's the little adapter support thing. It's super thin, So this isn't going to be able to, like, you can't put that peg in there and just expect it to kind of sit. This thing could snap or something like that. So this does need to get glued to a base. So that's why I'm saying I think this is a press, just basically something that is universally adaptable to any of the kits out there. And then we've got, I can't find the little support piece, so let's just go to what we got here. There's the armor plates for the left and right side of the accelerator cannon. Here is, this is the back piece here to it. Very cool stuff. I mean, it's super well detailed and everything in there. These are the engines and the bolt cannon barrels to the front that glue in. So there's two of the engines that glue onto the back. And here's the turret itself. Very cool looking. Now, nice flat profile there with a little cowling, a little fillet right there, going right down the middle. I like that. I really dig it. The two accelerator cannons themselves, left and right side. Looks like one of the sprue pieces broke off in the bag here. And here's the breech for each of them that also attaches right there. There's a little pin that goes in there so it can swivel. Here's the other one. Boom, boom. What else we got? Some more anti-grav plating that looks like a bunch snapped off in here. So that's basically what goes, where is it? Right here. Those little pieces right there are gonna, with the little nubs. So it's gonna look like it's kind of like extended almost, like some sort of crazy skimmer thing. Little human take on the Eldar tech. Here's the fuel canisters for the accelerator cannon themselves. And some little barrel thingies, some sort of hoses. Like I said, the accelerator cannon itself is a ton of pieces. There's more anti-grav pieces. And this is the bolt cannon underneath. And then the cowling that goes on top of it so it can swivel left and right. And let's take a look at that. So right there is where that goes. So this slots right in like that. And then this little nub goes on top. And make sure you don't glue that down, because otherwise it won't be able to swivel. And it'll be stupid. And everybody will want to move it when they see your sweet, sweet flyer, and you won't be able to. Excuse me. And here is the back of all that. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the clear little flight stand piece that goes right on top of this. That obviously has a little bit of flash on there on the top, and then it locks in right here. And you can tell that that's pretty well recessed. Like, that's going to go deep in there and probably support the weight of this. But like I said, this needs to go onto a base, because otherwise it's just not going to work so well. So you know I'm really digging that. And let's see what else is in here. It just looks like a bunch more grav plates that snapped off. And yep, more grav plates. So that's pretty much it for the model itself. I think this is a wonderfully designed kit. We don't know what the faction is going to be, but I'm still excited, or you know, what else is going to be in the line. But if this is the very first kit to come out from Forge World for the Custodes vehicle, I am super stoked for it. Like, I don't even have a use for it, and I want to keep it just because it looks so dope. But you know, that's not what we do here. So we'll be giving this one out soon. All right. Next up, let's break down the rules a little bit. So as of right now, this is a 30k only tank from Forge World, but you know, in the near future they might port some of the stuff over to 40k. I mean, technically the Warlord Titan's 30k only. There's no 40k rules for it, which is kind of hilarious because it's so good, right? So here it is. It's 195 points. You'll also notice here that it's Ballistic Skill 5, 13, 13, or 13, 13, 11, 3 hull points. So it's a little bit better than the Sakaran, because when the Sakaran first came out, they said it was 13 side, then they bumped it down to 12. I'm wondering if this is going to stay the same way. I guess, you know, we'll see going forward. It is a grav tank. It is skimmer, fast. Of course, it comes with the bolt cannon, the Alastris accelerator cannon, flare shield, machine spear. Special rules are deep strike, outflank, and grav backwash, most of which are listed over here. You can buy the armored ceramite, which turns off Melta. Searchlight, we all know what that does. Extra armor definitely helps, but I feel like when you're jinking, that's pretty good too. But you know, it never hurts to have a little bit of extra armor there. The grav backwash is really neat. Unless it's immobilized, attackers suffer a -2 penalty to hit in assault. So it's not going to get run up on, and even if it is, they're going to be hitting it probably on 5s, I would imagine, right off the bat. The bolt cannon is 36-inch range, strength 6, AP3, so basically a heavy bolter on crack. It's got heliothermic detonation. We'll get to that in a sec. And then the Illustrious accelerator cannon is a whopping 60 inches, strength 7, AP2, so it blows away the gun on the Sakaran tank. Heavy 3, not as many shots, rending, great. Rapid tracking and heliothermic detonation. Of course, rapid tracking ported over from the Sakaran. Targets may not take jinx saves against damage from this weapon. So if it's shooting at another one of itself, I guess it can't jink, but it can jink because it is a skimmer right here. Then the heliothermic detonation, basically if something takes an unsaved wound from it and it needs to make a toughness test or it's ID'd out. As far as vehicles go, you just add +1 to the result rolled on the vehicle damage table, because obviously that doesn't port over very well to from a vehicle to a model. Now, let's compare this bad boy to the only other thing we really have to compare it to in 30K, the Sakaran battle tank itself. Now, right off the bat, you can see that points-wise, it's about 30 points more. It has an extra point of armor. It probably has a better gun in the accelerator cannon right here. Just because it's strength 7 AP2, this is strength 7 AP4. It's heavy 6, but this is heavy 3, and I feel like it has more abilities right there. Now, stock-wise, it comes with extra armor, searchlight, smoke launcher. Does not come with that over here. It doesn't even come with the smoke launcher, actually. That's interesting. Does have better special rules. The flare shield is really cool. It does come with that, so your neg 2 to hit it. Strength of the weapon if it's barrage or template, or just neg 1 straight up strength. It doesn't affect D weapons though, so D's always gonna get it, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. And you can see here rapid tracking was ported over from the Sakaran itself. So this is for Custodes faction only. This is for all the Astartes faction. So you know, it's a little bit more utilitarian with Sakaran, but this is basically like the up version of the Sakaran Grav tank. So I think they did a good job comparing or basically porting over the rules and making something that isn't OP and still pretty well balanced for getting the skimmer ability right there. So will we see this make a difference in tabletops? Well, I mean, you can't even technically field it quite yet. I don't believe, not that I have seen any ways to do it, but unless there is a formation, because it doesn't say the type. So right now, I don't think there is a way to take this currently. Now, I imagine when the Prospero Burns, or Inferno box Inferno rulebook, book 7 for Horus Heresy, I'm sure when that drops, there might be a whole little mini section in there on the Custodes themselves, which would be really cool to see, because that would give a whole bunch of opportunity for new models to come out as well with that release. Because remember, right now all we got is 1,000 Suns, or you know, we've seen most of the 1,000 Suns, we've seen most of the Space Wolves, we've seen Lehman Ross, we haven't seen Magnus, the Primarch, so they could drop Magnus, you know, human form of Primarch. This isn't even my final form yet. They could drop him, but I think the big brouhaha and the most eagerly anticipated part is the Custodes and the Sisters of Silence part of this whole like menagerie going on Prospero there. So who knows what's going on, but I know so far I'm liking what I'm seeing from Forge World with this release. So that's it for this one. Questions, comments, clarifications, please leave it below.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,